Hey folks, Kilt-Man here, Kilt-Man at your services. How are you all? You're all doing very, very well. Now, the Remake Brigade are back in town. And now we're getting, apparently, a remake of 1990s spidery terror fest, Arachnophobia. From Amblin Studios, Amblin whatever they were, Spielberg's company. And it was the directorial debut of Frank Marshall, who we all know and love. And it was a great movie. It was a horror comedy, and it thrived on having real spiders in it, and a great big animatronic, Big Bob, as he was known, this Amazonian spider, this particular breed, who's big and murderous, and kills one of this sort of research party out there, kills this guy, and it gets in the casket with him, and the casket gets sent back to America. Big Bob's hitched a ride, and he ends up in a little hick town at the same time as Jeff Daniels and his family move out from the big city. There's a new doctor in town, and he's got new ways, and the old doctor don't like him. And anyway, at the same time as his arrival, Big Bob meets one of the local arachnids and bumps uglies with her. And next thing you know, quick birth, millions of these little bastards, these little sort of mutated versions. They're not as big as Bob, but they're still small and nasty, and their bites will kill. So suddenly the townsfolk are dropping like flies. Come into my parlour, said the spider to the fly. But Jeff Daniels is kind of getting the blame. Dr. Death, I think they call him. You know, since you arrived, everyone's dying. And where's Big Bob holed up? In the cellar of their new gaff, the old farmhouse, the ranch that they bought. Chaos and terror ensue, and it is a good combination of horror and comedy. It got likened a lot to Gremlins at the time, for its combination of horror and the comedy, and the thrills and spills that went alongside all that, and that whole sort of Frank Marshall Spielbergian panache, you know, that sort of glossy Americana gleam, that suburbia meets sort of, you know, hometown America, that sort of thing. And it worked a treat. One of the key elements was, well, having John Goodman in there as Delbert McClintock, who's the bug exterminator. Then he has a right old time. He's a good old boy, and he's killing bugs left, right, and centre, squishing them and spraying them with all kind of incendiary sprays. But there's more there than he can bargain for, and it does become a huge battle royale between the humans and the arachnids. And Jeff Daniels, who has the titular fear, arachnophobia. Who fucking doesn't? I mean, really, who doesn't? Although Dr. Julian Sands, as wooden as ever, he doesn't have arachnophobia. He's an entomologist. He's a spider specialist. Although he'll soon learn the error of his ways when Big Bob comes for him, and puts the bite on his face. Jesus. And but yeah, John Goodman, in possibly the last of his sort of friendly roles. I mean, from Roseanne and all that, Roseanne, and John Goodman after this then became something very sinister in the Coen Brothers Barton Fink. Then he was that totally evil, despicable, racist, bigoted, ruthless gang leader. His son's in the gang, and he didn't know that he was the leader overall in the great, what's his name, Kevin Bacon, and it was called Death Sentence. And it's not a bad movie, to be honest. It's very, very nasty. But and John Goodman's John Badman, really. And then, of course, in 10 Cloverfield Lane, I don't know what the hell he was supposed to be, but Jesus Christ, he's so frightening and intimidating. But in this, he's great. In fact, let's play a bit of his theme. Delbert's theme. Good old hick country good old boy. Harmonica going off there as well. This is a score by Trevor Jones, just before he would go on to do Last of the Mohicans, and then Cliffhanger, and then a few others, and then drop off the scene altogether. But wonderful composer. So now they're remaking it, and it's being made by Christopher Landon, who is Michael Landon's son, and Little House on the Prairie and Highway to Heaven and all that. He's doing it now. He's done horror comedies before. He's done Freaky. He's done Scout's Guide to Zombies or something like that. Or is it the Scout's Guide to Zombies? Fucking hell. Fucking thing's dead. I've just fucking shot it twice and it's still fucking got up. Where's me knife? I'll cut its fucking bollocks off, la. And he's done a couple of Paranormal Activities and Happy Death Day. By the way, I've seen none of those movies. Absolutely none. So he's an unknown commodity to me. But James Wan, again, Paranormal Activity and, oh God, what's it called? The Conjuring and all that series. He's the big honcho of that. And I love The Conjuring. I love The Conjuring 1. And that's it, really. The first Conjuring film is fantastic. But the rest, and all the Annabelle offshoots, oh, who cares? Who cares? But, you know, although I'm automatically skeptical of remakes, this film, I have not seen Arachnophobia since its days on VHS sell-through, because that's the copy I've got there. When I saw the news about this coming out, I thought, oh, Arachnophobia, I used to love that, even though I do have Arachnophobia. But that's why the film works, because if you haven't got Arachnophobia, then it's going to sit there and go, just pick it up and throw it out. Well, you can't with these, they'll bite you, and then you'll know all about it. So I've not seen it since those days, and there's the UK VHS copy that came out, which would be 1991 probably. And I always got a bit annoyed with this, because although I do love the colour scheme of this poster, can you see what's wrong with it? Where's the spider coming down? No spider. On the American posters, there's a spider hanging down. In this, you just got the web up there. But where's this? Seems like a criminal sort of omission to have made. The UK posters all were like that. I just didn't get it. The suspense of Alien, the excitement of Jaws, the fun of Back to the Future. Really? Don't think so. But it is a good movie, and it does have lots of frights and shocks. And the final battle in the cellar, oh dear God, because Big Bob's got his mate, and she gets, what does he do with her? I think he's on a shovel, and he manages to swing the shovel, and she gets sent into a circuit box, and she gets all melted and fused, but he's still got to take out Big Bob. I think all the other spiders have been sprayed with this napalm-like stuff, and Jeff Daniels knows, he's down this pipe, and he's looking into this pipe, he's going, come on, you bastard. And he's got some acetylene lamp or something like that anyway, and a nail gun. And even though you can hear that music, that's scampering. That's what Trevor Jones does. Let's play that again. Oh, God. Even though you know it's there, kind of like the head in Jaws coming through the hole in Ben Gardner's boat. You know it's going to happen, but the timing is great, and it is one of those great, whoa, Jesus, as you go, come on. And then the camera work, he manages to, I think, lean back a little bit, just as it goes, wah, and goes straight for his face, and you're like, ah, Jesus. And he manages to, what does he do with it? Does he punch it? Does he fling it? Somehow or other, it goes into the fire, and it jumps out on fire, and comes for him again. And he's got the nail gun, so he shoots as it leaps, shoots the nail through it, and it skewers it to the its big bulging spider nest, this big egg sac where millions of his new little babies are going to come out and take over the world, and the whole thing gets barbecued, and they win the day. But if I remember rightly, don't they leave town? They leave and go back to the big city. Even with its earthquakes and landslides and all that kind of stuff, and murders, drive-by shootings, John Goodman's family and friends doing all that, of course. It's safer out there. But, I don't know, with the remake of this, what are you going to get? What do you think? Your skeptical brain, your cynical brain is going straight away, oh, it's just going to be a CGI clagfest. Yeah, and it probably will be, because I don't think you're going to get many actors who are going to want to be covered in spiders. I mean, a few people have done it. The great William Shatner in Kingdom of the Spiders got covered in bloody tarantulas. I don't think he enjoyed that so much. And Julian Sands, who doesn't like spiders, he had to, in his death scene, he had to be covered in these things, which a bit like a Bush Tucker trial in I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. They put a face mask on him, got the cameras ready, and dropped hundreds of these little spiders down, and then took the mask away, and they're all over his face for a good few minutes, and they're scurrying into his eyes, and his mouth, and up his nose. And he said, you know what, I'm not afraid of spiders. In our family, I'll pick them up and I'll throw them out. Even big ones, doesn't bother me. But this did bother me. I think it'd be pretty insane not to be a bit sort of aggrieved by that. A lot of scampering, scurrying across your face. Kind of brings to mind the scene in The Beyond, Lucio Fulci's epic gore fest, The Beyond, where, I don't know, before you even say it, some of these tarantulas, these supernatural tarantulas in this gothic library, where by some warlock spell, Julian Sands, warlock, connections again? Who'd have thought? And this librarian falls off, one of them ladders that they slide down all the bookshelves. I want one of them for our library. I love those things. And he's got the Book of Ibon, and a big pizzazz knocks him off, and he's lying there, and he's kind of like paralysed, but he does see these spiders coming, combination of real spiders and then pipe cleaner spiders, but some bloody real big ones are crawling all over him. And what do these spiders do? They do something that spiders don't normally do. For one thing, they pull out his tongue and then bite through his tongue. They rip the flesh off his face, and they take one of his eyeballs out as well, all in glorious gaudy close-up. The typical speciality of Lucio Fulci, uber eye violence. If you didn't have arachnophobia before watching that scene, you bloody well will afterwards. But spiders in movies, yeah, I love them. I mean, what else have you got? You've got Eight-Legged Freaks, which is let down by the fact that nobody really dies. They rescue them all from their web-like cocoons and they're down in the mine, don't they? So it's all the threats diluted. Although it is good, and it is good freaky fun. What else have you got? Oh, Earth versus the Spider, the giant spider invasion, where they're clearly on Volkswagen Beetles, keeping the insect fraternity alive, with these big, stupid, gangly spiders. Big ass spider, and what else have you got? Oh, Tarantula, obviously, the classic Jack Arnold movie, Tarantula. You've got the very rarely seen, although I was lucky enough to see it twice on TV, and it's totally indelible on my brain. I love Dan Curtis, TV movie specialist who pushed the boundaries of TV horror. Did versions of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and Dracula with Jack Palance playing Dracula. It's a great version. He's the guy behind Kolchak, The Night Stalker, the 2 TV movies and then the TV spin-off series. But he did a film called Curse of the Black Widow. It'd be back in 73, 74, something like that. And it's bloody terrifying. Set in like a Californian coastal town, and there is a curse of a Black Widow. But it's a giant Black Widow, and it's a member of the cast, like a werewolf, transforms. I'm shivering just talking about it, to be honest. Transforms into a huge, hideous Black Widow, and you see through its eyes. You know, they've got 8 eyes or whatever they've got, like multiple eyes. So you see this kaleidoscopic image of its victims as it's pursuing them. I remember one guy gets into a zoo, and he runs to like the lion's cage, but the lions are like fucking, they're at the back. Whoa, jeez, not going near that. And he's pinned against the rails, and all you see is like the 2 mandibles, the 2 big pincers, plunge into his chest. And it terrified me. The pursuit sequences, and well, it's a woman, it's a Black Widow, the woman that turns into the tarantula in a couple of shots just before, because obviously this is fledgling special effects. And 70s TV movie budget as well. But her skin darkens and her eyes just become like black orbs, glinting as well with malevolence. And then the finale of the movie is set in like a beach house, which is built on struts. Well, no, it's got a big basement to it. I'm saying struts because lots of woodwork gets smashed asunder, and our hero and heroine go in there with torches, spider webs and bodies hanging everywhere. And then I remember this thing comes crashing through a wall. It just swings through a wall and it's coming after them. Oh, Jesus Christ. Now that film has never surfaced, apart from, I think it was on a US home video cassette, but I've never tracked that down. It was on TV when I saw it before we ever had a video recorder. That's how long ago it was that I saw this movie. So you're talking a TV movie from 73, 74, probably aired in the UK, I'd say around 77, 78 perhaps. And I remember it was on twice in quick succession. It was on 1 week, and then unbelievably it came on again about a month later. And I was like, oh, it's that film again, I've got to watch it again. Jesus, nightmares forever. And I'd love to get hold of that. A lot of Dan Curtis' stuff has come out. A lot of like movies which you didn't know he'd been involved in, they've all come out as well. He did Dark Shadows as well, didn't he? Barnabas Collins, the vampire, and many other things. And all of that's available. But this one film, you can't get it. Before you jump to conclusions and say, well, hang on, Kilt-Man, it's on YouTube. It is in little 3 or 4 minute segments, and it's a 90-odd minute movie. So that's going to take you. It's a while to get through it, and in little itsy bitsy spidery little interludes. No, that's not the way to do it. Somebody out there will be able to get the rights to this and release it. It's well worth it. Says the guy who hasn't seen it since he was about 8 years old. And it's probably the shit now. No, Dan Curtis' stuff's always good quality. So, Arachnophobia. I'm trying to remember, because it's such a long time since I've seen that as well. There's a high school football player, and he picks up. It's gone down the bleachers, and it's gone into his helmet. Puts it on, gets tackled, but he doesn't get up again. And Dr. Jeff Daniels is there as well, runs over, but they take the helmet off, but they don't see the spider crawling away. And there's lots of shots of that, like after the event, leaving the scene of the crime. These spiders, not even Big Bob. I remember in the autopsy when the guy who first gets bitten, and Big Bob hitches a ride back to the US in his coffin, his casket, and but you see him escape through like a little sort of vent in the door of the autopsy room, like, and then he gets picked up by a raven or a blackbird, and then it's made up. Oh, look what I've got for dinner, and then he just goes, and it just cascades to the ground, dead, because he's putting a bite on it. And Big Bob just shrugs the bird off. I'm like, here's a new town for me. Where's them ladies at? I'm of a mind to make some babies. Oh, Jesus Christ almighty. And you've got, I think, isn't it the old doctor who resents Dr. Jeff? He puts his slippers on, sitting on the edge of the bed, and it's one of these spiders has got in there. So down he goes. You've got another girl that's a lampshade, and you've seen the spider go inside the lampshade, and she's just like reading a book or watching telly, and just leans up to turn the light off or whatever. And you've got that guy from Total Recall. I know he's probably a big TV star in America as well, but I don't kind of know what his name is. The one who says to Arnie, like, yeah, in your mind, you're going to find the alien conspiracy, you're going to save the Martian planet, you're going to get the girl, you're going to kill the bad guys, but in reality, back on Earth, you'll be lobotomized. There's a bead of sweat dripping down his head, and Doug Quaid, Arnie just sees that, and then goes, and he goes, it's just blowing him away. It's him anyway. I think him and his wife are sitting in like their parlour, and they've got a bowl of popcorn, but you've seen the spiders are in there, and you just see her hand going, and you go, oh no. But then I don't think you see him get killed, but I think Jeff Daniels and the good guys come in, and the two of them are sitting there like that, and that guy, instead of like a big like blood and sweat dripping down his head, he's got spiders running about all over him, and you're like, oh God, no. Even though it's like a PG, it's a kid-friendly movie, it's genuinely frightening. It's genuinely suspenseful. It's not pushing boundaries like Jaws did. I don't think it's gory. You might see a few wounds and that, and a desiccated corpse, but it's just fucking things like this running about. And there was a few shots of the spider kind of crawling up things, or its legs just hanging down behind like a bed. And I remember at the time people were going, oh, they've just ripped that off from Aliens, where the Facehuggers, there's one there, are attacking Ripley and Newt in the med bay, and they jam it, and their legs are going, well, you can't say it's ripping off aliens, because the facehuggers are ripped off from spiders anyway. The whole design of a facehugger is spidery with a big long tail, you know, and a big sort of huge vaginal thing underneath. Geiger, what were you smoking, man? What were you smoking? But yeah, and of course, regular viewers know that I got horribly spider bitten last year. I think, was it just after Halloween? It's apt for you, isn't it? And I still have the scar. I showed you the wound, and the wound was quite horrific. I didn't know what it was. I just thought, what the hell? Went to the doctors, and just like let's just have a flashback to it. And I went to the doctors and said, like, Doc, what's this? It was a female doctor. What's this? Lifted me kilt. And she went, oh, it's a spider bite. I went, like Scooby, you know, spider bite? And I went, what? I said, what? A, I don't like spiders, and B, what fucking spider did that to me? And she went, and I was like, what fucking spider did that? Here, in this country? And she went, oh, that's a common British house spider. Simple fact of the matter is that even in this country, you're getting bitten all the time. You're getting bitten by midges, mosquitoes, spiders, and they all carry venom. They all carry some kind of toxin. And the vast 99.99999 recurring percentage of the time, you won't have a reaction to it. So you won't even feel it. There'll be no mark. You won't even know it's happened. You'll never know it's happened. He's done his business and he's fucked off. And but occasionally you will have it. You can't. It's just random. You will have a reaction to one particular one. Could be a unique set of circumstances. He's been out shagging and boozing the night before, and he's full of arachnid STDs, and so he's a bit more toxic than usual. Puts the bite. You've sat on him. And I reckon he was actually in the bed with me, or crawled in, and because I noticed in the morning, I rolled over. And, ow, Jesus, what's that? And I couldn't feel a lump at first, but and I thought that was spasm. Don't know what. It's one of the springs come loose again. Get some action in that mattress. Not much action. And I kind of forgot about it, but then throughout the day I was thinking, I kept touching at it. I thought, what's going on there? And then I began to feel a lump. And I looked at it, I went, oh, Jesus Christ, what's that? And I was given a course of antibiotics, which didn't do much. I had to go and have another course of antibiotics. That's how bad it was, like. And they were, we're concerned about this, like, and if you see any tracks, where the blood poisoning, and there was blood poisoning, but it didn't. It went from a little tiny thing like that to a wound like that. Well, the surface circumference probably a bit bigger, and because of the pressure underneath, the skin on the top cracks, and it looks like a spider web, fueling that urban myth. It's laid eggs in me, they're gonna burst out, I've got all spiderlings running around, oh God almighty. And where's the whiskey? And then it just began to just recede and get smaller and just collapse, and it's now just like a mark. But it's a scar that will last for life. I've got fucking millions of scars, so big deal on that. But I just don't like the fact that one of them bastards bit me. Yeah. And I didn't get any powers from it. I can't climb walls. I can't sling webs anywhere. I can't do anything. I've got no spider sense, tingling. Well, actually, I am tingling right now because I'm talking about spiders. So that is a spider sense then, I suppose. But anyway, big spidery chat. I think we still await a big new monster spider. And I don't mean one of these fucking sci-fi channel asylum bullshit pictures. I don't mean one of them is shonky, wonky CG and just really stupid. Let's have you could, I know I'm not into remakes, I'm about to say, why not have a remake-ish of Tarantula, where a giant mutated spider is on the rampage, but taken seriously, and it's genuinely frightening. You don't want it too big, because when it's too big, this is what they always said, this is what they said about eight-legged freaks, with giant tarantulas. They said what we had to do, if you made a tarantula giant, it's not scary. because it's covered in fur and it'll look cute. It'll look that you want to stroke the bloody thing. So what they did in that, they digitally, obviously, removed most of the fur from it, so it's a bit more spiky and a bit more muscly and sort of, you can see a bit more of its flesh, and that made it creepier. So, you'd have to be wary of that, obviously. But, another giant spider movie, but taken seriously. And I don't mean like thrills and spills and the kids can enjoy it too. No, I mean a proper bloody terrifying and friggin' nasty one. Yeah. Because Tarantula back in the early 50s when Jack Arnold made that, it was killing horses, killing people. There was bones and bodies everywhere. It weren't pleasant. It wasn't. And you'd see it, the great camera shot of a real tarantula, and like you'd be looking up at it, and its mandibles would go like that, and there'd be all saliva and enzymes dripping out of it, and you're like, oh Jesus, I don't want to go near that. God Almighty. And The Incredible Shrinking Man, of course, which was Jack Arnold again, and the poor guy gets shrunk down to little tiny size, ends up getting trapped in the cellar where Big Bob virtually is down in the cellar, just a typical American house spider, bigger, and he's locked into a duel with this thing. Oh Jesus, and it just becomes sheer blood-curdling nightmare. Brilliant effects for its time and genuinely terrifying. So you want something like that. How we had Shelob, didn't you? Was anyone frightened by Shelob though? When you actually saw Shelob in Lord of the Rings, was you? I was really highly anticipating that sequence, and I thought, oh God, this is with Peter Jackson behind this, knowing his fascination for King Kong and the Lost Spider Pit sequence, which of course he then remade as a sort of an extra feature, not in his remake of King Kong, which had other creatures and stuff like, but he actually remade the sequence that was in the original Willis O'Brien version from storyboards and from the script that you had, with new actors, and it's its own separate little thing away from his remake, but just it was a piece of passion for him, a vanity project, and yeah, that's bloody terrifying. So you think with Peter Jackson behind it, Shelob would be genuinely a thing of true awesome brutality and ferocity, and yeah, she's old and she's sick and she's malevolent, pure evil, but it didn't bother me in the least. In fact, I kind of found when Sam's fighting her and she's scampering around and he sort of hooves the end in like sort of pincers, but there's a big sort of horseshoe clomp. I kind of like the sound effect of her staggering around, and when he stabbed her as well and she's collapsing, I kind of liked that, and I kind of felt sorry for her. And I thought, they're the wrong emotions. I want a great big ginormous boot to come down and go and just spider black to go everywhere. But no, I felt sorry for Shelob. Anyway, so guys, your thoughts. Arachnophobia, should it be remade, or should he just make another spider? Maybe there's plenty of scope to make another similar idea. How would this work? You know it's going to be CG. The first movie had real spiders and animatronic spiders for Big Bob, and it looked great. There's another film out there, came out a couple of years ago, called Itsy Bitsy, which actually isn't that bad, and it has a big spider. But again, it's like sort of that size. It's not like a giant thing, but yeah, fucking hell, that's bloody big enough, innit? And it's animatronic, but it's not as good as Big Bob, because the way it kind of moves like it's almost stop motion as well. So it's kind of like creaky and a bit, it's kind of moving out of time with time, out of sync. But it is good, and I recommend the movie actually. It's got quite a few good scares and jumps in it. And if you don't like spiders, mate, oh Christ, it does its job pretty well. And the great Bruce Davison from Alzheimer's Raid is in there as well. And from, what else was he in? I can't remember now. But spiders, Arachnophobia. I'm kind of on the fence about this because I like the original movie a lot, and although I haven't seen it for donkey's years, And I think you don't have to tell the exact same story. You can really ramp this up. Has it got to be small town America? Is he going to spawn a lot which could take over the town? And that maybe the first half of the movie is in the small town, and then just get all the survivors out, and then we'll nuke the place, nuke it from orbit, anyway, to be sure. And but they're heading now down the highways. They're spreading everywhere. I don't know, I'm making my own version up now. But anyway, Arachnophobia, it'll be coming. It's only just been touted now, but Frank Marshall, the director of the original, is actually on board as executive producer, I think. I've seen no cast for it. And plot-wise, all I know it's a remake of the original. But they brought this guy in, Christopher Landon, because this is the thing, because of his sort of unique caliber with horror and comedy, chills and laughs, shits and giggles, So that's the idea. So they're obviously going to go with that sort of flow. So as I say, we still await the great big new serious giant spider creature feature. Oh God. But even though I'm terrified of him, and I'm a lot better with them now than I ever was, despite what happened to me. I mean, I know what they can do now, and I do treat them with a hell of a lot more respect. And I've never wanted, I don't want to kill them, because they're nature's gardeners. If you've got spiders, then you haven't got something else, because they're eating it, and you should look after them and preserve them, because they don't want to hurt you. Well, this bastard didn't he? Bastard, But like people, I suppose you get rogue ones, renegade ones who've just got a chip on their shoulder. They've got a grudge against the world, or they're just fucking hungry. Oh, tasty leg. Oh, taste the whiskey, Jesus. Oh God. But yeah, Arachnophobia. No idea when it's coming out, because I think he's got films coming out this year and next year. So this is way down the line, way down the web. Anyway, there you go, folks. Have been, always shall be, Kilt-Man. Always will be terrified and very respectful of spiders. Only kill them when I have to. When it's a true life or death situation. When it's him or me. Folks, I'm going to see you all. Come on, Big Bob. It's flambe time.